Hey guys, I wanted to get into a topic this week that I think affects a lot of you, at least based on conversations that I've been having with some clients and some prospects and people that we're working with and just classes that I'm teaching. And that's the subject of being productive, right? It's using your time to the best ability that you have. I found that, being on your own, being your own business owner and an entrepreneur and able to kind of call your own shots, it allows you to get distracted super easy. And it's one of the biggest hurdles to get over when you're first new in your business, but it's the thing that you probably have to figure out how to accomplish the quickest. So I technically became self-employed about 10 and a half years ago. I was let go of my full-time job and I lost that, steady income and the office job that I had and everything, and kind of had to start figuring out things on my own. And I realized just like going through the process of applying for other jobs and working on my resume and trying to better my skills and get new jobs, I had to have a plan in order, right? Like I had to get up in the morning, I had to do my thing, I had to go look for jobs and all that kind of stuff. And it started engraving this pattern into my mind of look, I got to stay organized. I can't just show up and wait for somebody to tell me what to do. And over the last decade, really, I've been able to refine that process for me. And so what happens is I meet business owners nowadays who've been self-employed for a long time and they've let that habit go. They just kind of do the things they feel like they need to do. They kind of let the wind blow them wherever they're going to go that day. And usually they end up doing the things that are interesting to them and they punt all the things that they need to do in their business. And as you know, as a business owner, there's a lot of things that have to get done on a day-to-day basis. You need to lead generate. You need to follow up your past clients. You need to, make sure all your business is in order, right? You need to have the proper paperwork filled out. You need to do your accounting. You need to track stuff. There's a lot of moving parts to a business. And I think that it's easy to neglect the things that have to happen on a day-to-day basis. And so I want to talk to you about how I keep myself productive, how I keep myself organized. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to printing out my calendar every single day. When I end my day, for example, today is Tuesday, when I wrap up, the previous day, I spend about 15 to 30 minutes going through the next day. I look at my schedule, I see what's on my calendar. I print out the paper because I'm a visual person. I need to have it in my hands. I need to take notes on it and cross things out and write things, and I'm super kind of touchy-feely that way, if you will. A lot of you guys can live off your cell phone and that works for a lot of you too, but you have to know what works for you. So I print out my calendar, I go through my list, I make sure that I'm prepared for all my calls. If I have any videos that I got to create like this one, I've planned enough time in the day to prepare for it, set up all the equipment and everything that I need to do. This is kind of my go-to spot now for filming and recording content like this. But I'll lay out my day. And then what I do is on the side of the paper, I leave some room to classify the items as priority. So some things has to happen that day, right? There's a deadline, it has to happen that day. If I don't do it today, it's just going to be a disaster and everything's going to fall apart. Other things probably can get done that week, but they aren't as critical to getting done that day. And then there's other things that get, punted for a few more weeks. Maybe you just need to get done that month. And so I typically call these things A, B, and C items. The A has to get done today, the B has to get done this week, and then the C has to get done that month. And so for me, I go through my calendar and I'm like, okay, what are the 3 things that I have to do today that are going to project my business, that are going to get me to the level that I need to? They're not just busy things, right? I can't just have busy stuff on there that's going to occupy my time. They have to actually be pushing me forward to where I'm trying to get. So you got to know your goals, which is helpful. And we'll get into that in a second. But I really want to understand, what do I have to get done today? So those are my 3 A items. The B items, again, are things that if I can have time and I can squeeze them in, great, and I'll get to them. And they, get to be checked off the list this week. And then maybe there's a couple C items that fit into that category and I can just kind of keep moving forward on those. So once I identify my A, B, and C items, then I just follow the calendar. And it's as simple as that. For you, it might be a digital thing. It might be something set in stone. It has to happen at 11 o'clock. Other things that can just happen that day. There's so many productivity apps that you can use. Again, some of you are digital, some of you need to be paper, some of you have to have a buzzer going off to tell you to get it done. It really depends on your personality and what works for you. For me, again, I'm paper. I like the paper. It works. For others, I take notes on my phone, the little notepad app that we have, and I just dump all my thoughts there. These are the things that I want to work on. It could be important today. It could be important next month, but I just got to get it out, right? I realize my brain is better at coming up with ideas and thinking through things than it is trying to remember stuff. If I come up with a solution to a problem, about 10 minutes later, that idea is completely out of my mind. So I have to write these things down really quick or else they're gone forever. I'll wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and be like, oh my gosh, this could totally solve all these problems that we're going through. And I'll literally have to get up, grab my phone, take note of it, because by the next day, that idea is completely gone. So that's how my mind works. The other thing to consider in all of this, and it really is kind of a step before planning out your day, is understanding your goals, right? What are your goals goals for this week? What are you trying to accomplish? What are the things that you want to get done this month? Maybe this quarter or this year? I try not to think past the 3-year mark because I realize 3 years is far enough out for me to have a vision of where I want my business to go, but it's also not so far out that I get lost and I maybe miss the excitementness of that goal, right? There's 3 years is obtainable. It's not that far away, like it's almost within grasp, but it's also close enough that, as technology changes and things evolve, I don't have to get too far down that road. If I start thinking out 10 or 20 years from now, there might be things that exist that I don't even have on my radar at all yet. So I try to keep my goals to 3 years or less. What books am I trying to accomplish? What programs am I trying to release? What clients do I want to work with? How do I want to help the industry that I'm in? That's really what I do. And then I kind of work backwards and reverse engineer the things that I have to do day to day to get there. So if you're struggling with productivity, number one, write down everything that you need to do. Just get it out of your mind, write it all down because you're going to forget it if you don't. Even if you need to grab like a yellow pad or something like that, just write it all down and then start prioritizing the things that you have and understanding what are those 8 items that are going to progress you forward day by day, and then figure out, what needs to happen this week, this month, this quarter, this year, so forth, so that you can hit the goals that you're trying to achieve. So anyway, that's how I run my process. And I know it's kind of a weird vlog this week, but just wanted to kind of dump that out there and figured I'd leave you some awesome value this week. And as we prepare for 2020, as the year is wrapping up, I think it's a good time to kind of set these expectations and look at what the next 3 years of your business is going to be like and how you're going to accomplish the things that you want to do so that you can have a fantastic year and you can make the next 20, 21, 22, I guess in 23 be fantastic. Anyways, thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't done so, hit that red bell below and subscribe to this channel and be part of this journey that we call the vlog. And we'll see you next week. Bye guys.